to play the game?
If you smell,
Shock the system.
Break it down.
What's going down? Thor Basement Banner, Kyle Olson, Knocked Out Entertainment, Wrestling in the Basement podcast. It's been a while, buddy. It's been a while. Orange Cast in the house. Dreaming over here. Purple Dream. Always purple dreams. Go Vikings. It's good to see you, man.
Yeah, good
We're
to see you.
right before the holidays.
Yep, right before the holidays, right after TLC.
So what do YouTubers do right before the holidays when they're shooting their videos? They make what?
Year-end.
End of year videos. You got it. That's it right here. Yeah. That's it. Year in review 2019.
Yeah. Or end of the decade if you're way too over ambitious like I was for my new podcast.
I know my limits.
Yeah.
I know my limits, sir.
I should have. We went 2.5 hours and I had to edit a bunch of stuff out.
If you want to hear a full breakdown of what this man and two other gentlemen thought of the last decade of wrestling, you can go listen to that right now. Like I said, Knocked Out Entertainment, search that. You'll find it.
Yeah.
Go check it out after you listen to this or watch this, actually, because it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
TLC did just happen.
TLC just happened.
We did predictions videos, so let's get some old business out of the way before we move into our year-end review. TLC, mediocre. Being there in person, it was mediocre.
Okay.
Watching it was probably even more mediocre, but even being there was mediocre. The predictions video, if you watch that, thank you.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering who won, because we never put that out, I did. Shocking. 5 out of 7 points. Brian, 3 of a possible 7 points. He pretty much picked everybody I didn't pick, which means
how did Brian
lose.
like the show?
As his first wrestling show?
Yeah.
He liked it.
Okay.
I think he understood the mediocrity of some of it.
Yeah.
But we had a great time. Like, being there, like, matches are always better in person, right? Like, most of the time. 99% of the time.
Yeah.
Being at the event will make it better than watching the event at home. Uh-huh. Not leaps and bounds, but me being kind of hypercritical, it was like 4 bad matches. Not bad matches.
Yeah.
Underachieving matches and 4, like, better to okay matches. But I wouldn't say there was a great match on the card.
Yeah, weirdly enough, the show might have peaked at the beginning of the main show.
Oh, no, the pre-show match was fire. Humberto Carrillo and Andrade. New Day and Revival was fire, opened the show. Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy, I think it was like shortly after that, or right after that.
Yeah, I think it was right after.
I love that match.
That was, I was so disappointed that the crowd was so quiet because that match was really good.
They wanted to get into it.
Yeah.
Okay, not with that match. They were too quiet for that match because that's just, I don't know. But they wanted to get into it at certain parts, but they just didn't get anything to like hold on to. Now, injuries in the finale aside.
Yeah.
Corbin and Reigns had a better TLC match for my money.
Yeah.
Being there in attendance than the women tag match at the end. And like and injury plays a big role into it, so it's slightly unfair for me to say.
Yeah.
Because you could visibly see Charlotte and Becky trying to hit chairs, but not really hit them with the chair. And it was so blatantly, I don't know about on camera how obvious it was, but being in the crowd, even Brian was like, oof. And there were just some spots there, you know, like, but someone get concussed, you can't really knock that. But I did win the predictions. No shock. Funny story, and then we'll move on to our year in review. I was going to buy a t-shirt at the event.
Yeah.
I wanted the OC shirt because I like that shirt.
Yeah.
That's a sweet shirt. It is a sweet
design,
shirt.
yeah.
I don't need another black t-shirt. Got it.
Yeah.
Way too many. But I want that shirt.
Yeah.
$35 American they were charging at the show. I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Then during the show, they put on the Tron, buy one, get one for $1 on WWE Shop.
Okay.
I get home from the event. I'm laying in bed, like trying to fall asleep. I go to WWE Shop. I order the OC shirt, and I got a blue Macho King Randy Savage, like him flexing. Can't wait.
Yeah.
$33.99 American with delivery will be here in the coming days.
Yeah, that's like my...
Don't get suckered at live events.
Yeah, unless you're actually buying from the talent themselves, then
yes, that's different. Indie shows, you can't go home and buy it. You can't go buy one get one, for $1 on WWE Shop. Now, other thing I will say, if you're at an event that's crazy, if you're at a Mania, you can't get the Mania shirt on WWE Shop.
Yeah.
Like the I Was There shirt.
Yeah.
Because they had a TLC shirt that said I Was There, and that was $35, but it was not good enough for me to purchase.
Yes.
And it was not better than the OC shirt. So therefore, I will now have 2 shirts for $1 less than paying for one at the venue. And I don't even know if that included tax.
Yeah.
That 35 or if it's just straight cash, homie. But either way, I will have an OC shirt and now a Macho King shirt. But
nice.
TLC was underwhelming to say the least.
Yeah. It was more fun for me seeing the reaction because unsurprisingly, most of those security were, local
enhancement talent.
So it's like, oh, yep. Devon just got hit by a Singapore cane. Cool.
Oh, so all the 5 guards running in.
Yeah,
the
one who like jumped and leaped at Roman Reigns and then got hit with the kendo stick.
Yeah.
It was my friend Devon Monroe, who will be at like WrestlePalooza and stuff. And then right after the guy who gets like shoulder tackled was a guy named The System. And then earlier in the match, the guy who gets like thrown through the table like up top was Petey Brown.
Did you know any of the people sitting at the KFC table?
Half of them, yes.
Really?
Yes.
You knew 2 of the 4?
Yes. James Tapia was the bald guy, and then 3 of the 4 actually. Which is funny because the blonde on like the far end, is Julia, who's a new Academy graduate, I believe, and then from Iowa was one of the people who she's actually a vegetarian.
Okay,
so she was
mashed potatoes.
Yeah, she was just down mashed potatoes the whole time.
That's amazing. Yeah, I knew. You know what? Those are the kind of nuggets you only get on this show when wrestling shows are in Minnesota.
Heather's a vegetarian. Like,
that's funny. That's super funny. Yeah, we had a good time. Like being with Brian for his first show and like going to the first pay-per-view I've been to since Elimination Chamber. I think a long time ago.
Yeah, I think that was 2016.
Wyatt's versus Shield.
Yeah.
Let me know in the comments.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. It was a fun event. Now, the next pay-per-view I want to see here in Minnesota is WrestleMania. I'm going to be honest. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but I'm going to hold out hope. Yeah. They're saying LA or Atlanta, and they were saying Minneapolis last year, and then Tampa snuck in.
Yeah.
There are 2 other unnamed cities. I hope we're that. I hope we can just sneak in and we need it. Okay. Vegas, they've also been talking about for WrestleMania 37. I want one. Here in Soda before I get too
want
old.
One.
It's nice in April here.
It's nice in April. I mean, it's an indoor stadium anyway,
US
so
Bank.
you'll be fine.
The bank.
It's an indoor stadium. There's a ton of infrastructure for all the WrestleMania, events.
Well, they know they got XL. They got Target.
They got the convention center for access.
We've been on the list of cities for like 4 years, and we keep getting hosed. Hashtag Minneapolis WrestleMania 37. Yeah. Let's go. Moving on to the year-end review.
Yeah,
2019 was a crazy year.
Crazy year.
It was the year for me that I got into New Japan.
Yeah, sorry.
So starting January of last year was the beginning, of the year, and when I started watching New Japan, Wrestle Kingdom. So I mean, everything's in play throughout what we're talking about. So we'll go Wrestle Kingdom, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble. The summer months that were long.
So technically, that means you've never seen a live Hiromu Takahashi match.
No, because I wasn't watching this morning. I didn't watch Road to the Tokyo Dome. That's on. I mean, because we're that up to the minute with this. No, I haven't. My first match will be when I get the chance to watch Wrestle Kingdom. God knows when that will be. Yeah, maybe the 6th or 7th. I'll probably Stardom. Because 2 nights is just crazy that Wrestle Kingdom 2020. But going back to Wrestle Kingdom last year, that was kind of the end of 2019 was just such a crazy year, right? Because you had Wrestle Kingdom kind of being the end of the run of the Elite in New Japan, right? With all of them losing, all of them moving on, right? The formation in a couple months later of AEW, right after, was it right after or right before Double or Nothing?
Well, so technically the year starts at midnight with the AEW announcement. Because it was...
Oh, did they announce that on New Year's?
They announced it at midnight. Or they announced Double or Nothing at midnight on the 1st, or on like 31st into the 1st.
Okay.
And then I can't remember if it was, or no, it was right after. Either way, it was very early that they announced AEW. I can't remember if it was announced before they did the Tokyo Dome shows or not. I think it was, because like Cody and the Bucks weren't on Wrestle Kingdom, but Kenny was the only one who was still there.
No, I thought they all lost at Wrestle Kingdom. I thought Cody lost the U.S.
Oh, yeah,
title.
he lost the U.S. title. Yep.
The Bucks lost. I want to say in their match. I think they all.
Yeah, they all lost.
They all took big fat L's on their way out, which is fine. Go out on your back. You know, that's the wrestling way. So yeah, it starts with Wrestle Kingdom, then the formation of AEW around that time. WWE was. What was this is how crazy it is. I can't remember like who won the Rumble last year. Becky. Or what was going on. The Women's Rumble. Who won the Men's Rumble last year?
Was it Seth, or was he the champ already?
Mm-hmm. He faced Brock, but I didn't think that was the Rumble thing. I thought the other match was for the Rumble winner.
I think Seth won the Rumble.
Kofi? Was that Kofi Mania?
No, because Kofi got in through like the Elimination Chamber and then lost at the Elimination Chamber, but then I don't even remember who won the.
No, I don't remember
Rumble.
either. Literally WWE 2019 doesn't really start for me until WrestleMania though, because you had Kofi Mania, you had all the babyface wins, Becky taking off as the man, all that going on. So WWE was going good, I thought, at that time.
Yeah.
Better than I feel that they're going right at the present moment.
Yes.
I mean, even though there are a lot that I like, there's a lot that I like, but there's a lot that I dislike. Mm-hmm. And you have such strong products in AEW and NXT.
Yeah.
Where it's hard, and there's just so much wrestling.
Yeah.
If I have to pick one show a week to watch, one out of, let's say, the 4 big ones, right? SmackDown, Raw, AEW Dynamite, and NXT. Mm-hmm. If I have to pick one to watch, it's probably going to be NXT or AEW. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, probably for me, most weeks, it's going to be NXT. If I heard NXT was soft, because I'm not watching anything live. Here's the other thing. So I'm not watching anything live, and we'll kind of get into this as we go, but this is one of the things we talked about early in the year is what the retention was going to be, not on your behalf, on my behalf. Yes. I bought All In, paid the $50, started watching Dynamite. Yeah. I have not completely fallen off, but I will say I skipped Full Gear. Okay. And I watch Dynamite every couple weeks if I know NXT is a weaker show, or if I just feel like watching. Sometimes I'll feel like watching Dynamite over, but I'll skip 2 or 3 weeks. Okay. And then watch a week here. And I've been doing the same thing with NXT. Yeah. I haven't watched a Raw, and I can't tell you how long. And I don't even know the SmackDown. I've watched a couple of them. Yeah. Because it's the shortest. I don't even tape Raw. So I tape NXT, I tape SmackDown, and I tape Dynamite. Okay. On the DVR every week. And then normally before they record the next week, I either watch or erase the previous weeks. Okay. Right? But I'm kind of jumping into the fall here. Yeah. But going back, WWE WrestleMania time, formation of AEW, All In. All In was what, May?
That was Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing was May.
Oh, no. Double or Nothing was May.
All Out was late August, early September.
All In.
Yep. All Out.
I thought All Out was the first one.
All In was last year. All Out.
I'm all confused.
Mostly because I think the trademark for All In technically is under Ring of Honors.
Because they had a lot of talent in there last year.
Because they helped with the production and stuff like that. So that's why they decided to go all out.
Oh, right.
This year.
Right. Wink, wink. Nudge. What I did like then, so then we moved into like the weird summer time.
Yeah, the summertime
was odd, right?
Yeah.
Because AEW was putting on like Fyter Fest, and they had these little shows here or there after Double or Nothing. Yeah, because Double or Nothing was like their big one. Yep. Moxley shows up. Jericho's their first champion. No.
No, he wasn't champ
he beat
until
Omega.
He wasn't champ until All Out.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah,
I'm all over the place today.
That's okay. Like this year has been all over the place.
It really has. It really has. Because AEW's running those weird promotions all summer.
Yep.
Some of them free, double or nothing paid.
Yep.
You had to pay for it, and then it wasn't until All Out where you had to pay again, right?
Yep.
Because didn't they do what? Fight for the Fallen, Fighter Fest,
Fight for the Fallen were free shows on BR Live.
Was there one other one I want to say?
I don't think so. I think it was just those two.
Okay. I feel there's just so much wrestling now. It's hard to like differentiate. Then we had like a weird takeover over the summer.
Yeah.
Money in the Bank happened.
Yeah, I had Money in the Bank like weekend. They did a takeover just because
Randy Orton ruined Kofi Kingston over the summer by just having really slow, methodical matches that nobody cared about.
Yeah. The second person that he's done that to.
It really was
history.
You're right. It really was a weird summer.
Yeah, it was weird, and like that's why I said like this summer and most of this year was, and we'll get to it eventually, was dominated by New Japan for me.
Yeah,
because it was the only thing that, like, especially this summer, that I really kept up on.
Best of Super Juniors and G1.
Yep.
Those two, I think they do come out of this for me. I think as the top promotion of 2019 for my money, right? Even as much as I don't watch New Japan as of lately, as of since Destruction, but that's just because I don't care until Wrestle Kingdom. Not that I don't care, but I'm not going to watch 27 6-man tags between now and the time that Wrestle Kingdom happens.
Yeah,
so,
well,
what's
and
the point?
everybody jokes online that you can basically take December off from watching New Japan because it's Tag League. Nobody cares about Tag League.
Yeah.
And no one cares about Tag League. Colt Cabana was in Tag League this year, teaming with Toru Yano. I've so many shows behind.
Who won Tag League?
Juice Robinson and David Finlay.
Not the Gorillas?
No, because they're champs right now. So
that's true. Yeah. I guess. No, see, that's how far I literally Destruction. When Jay White won the Intercontinental title off of Naito. That was like literally, I think, the last match that I watched. I might be partial way through King of Pro Wrestling. There you go. I might be part of the way through that thing. But like I said, I'm riding out. I'm just riding out until Wrestle Kingdom 2 event, to be honest.
Yeah,
but
it's like you most years you can skip Tag League and then come back for the one or two shows that they do at Korakuen Hall, which are the shows today.
So I've been noticing it's like you hit Wrestle Kingdom, you hit Best of Super Juniors, Dominion.
Yep.
Then G1.
Yep.
And then Destruction if you want, if there's some flavor that you like, and then you just ride out until the next Wrestle Kingdom. Obviously, because you hit Wrestle Kingdom like in January.
Yeah, because even this year, like King of Pro Wrestling normally is a big show, but this year for some reason it like there were big moments at King of Pro Wrestling. Yeah. Like the Hiromu Takahashi comeback was at King of Pro Wrestling.
Ah, okay.
At least I believe so.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
And you have moments like that, but King of Pro Wrestling this year was the Shibata the Kenta turn and the in-ring sort of return of Shibata, even though he's not cleared yet, which was super cool. Like,
yeah,
because
New Japan had such a good year. Will Ospreay killed it this year in New Japan. Like I think for me, standout star of the year in New Japan was Will Ospreay. You know what I mean? Like top superstar of the year would definitely have to go to him, not Okada, not Ibushi, which I don't know if it's just because I'm getting less excited about Ibushi Okada. I'm more excited about other matches on the card. Mox coming back and fighting Archer. In a Texas
death match.
Yeah,
which, I mean, it'll be so good.
Ospreay Takahashi, obviously. Yeah. There's just a lot of other matches that I think I'm more hyped for.
And those two are so annoyed that they are so far down on the card. And it's going to show in their match. They're going to basically be like, yeah, you should have put us on semi-main.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be that's the. You're talking about Will and Taka?
Will and Hiromu, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're gonna put on. I think that definitely has a chance to be match of the night.
Yeah,
is that night one?
That's night one.
And then who knows what happens night two?
Yeah, and they're
night two is a lot more wild card.
Night two is a little.
Now we're getting into 2020. Now we're getting into 2020. New Japan killed it in 2019, like you said. They had the strongest, biggest parts of the year, right? And then WWE kind of up and down, up and down. Summer was really weird. Fall's gotten weirder. And I mean, I guess they did kind of. We talked about TLC in the beginning, but that's kind of how you end 2019 for them, and it was not a great way to end the year. They started the year much stronger than they ended the year. Yeah. And that's not a good position going into, especially with what's on the horizon, right? And what's been building in AEW. When we were sitting at TLC, there's this really annoying dude sitting in front of us who wouldn't shut up and was like trying to get chants going from like the Q row of the section we were in, which is like, it's not happening. Yeah. Like, just give it up, man. And he's like, slap her. It was just awful. But at one point he sits down, he turns to the dude who brought his kid and he's like, have you ever heard of AEW? And they started having this huge talk and he's like, AEW is like the best thing going, blah, 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 blah. And I was sitting there and like Brian could tell like my face was like, I wanted to be like
just so angry.
NXT, NXT, but I was So the AEW train is building in the mass populace, and WWE needs to put up a better product if they're going to not lose a bigger chunk going forward. Because this wasn't like the demographic they were looking for. This is the demographic they're winning. That was telling this other dude. They're winning in like the 44 plus demographic, right? Like the 40 to 60 year olds. Yep. And like apparently the younger demographic, but they're not hitting like the main
they're not
demo.
They're not hitting the core.
AEW kills, right? Yep. So now if that older one starts to siphon off, you're going to see it could get bad. And AEW is good. AEW is good. Yeah. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's amazing, but I think it's good. It's a different flavor.
Yeah, there's things that are good about it, things that are bad about it.
You've watched every one, right?
Yes, I've watched every one of them, and I've watched every episode of Dark.
So you're way okay, because I've never watched an episode of Dark.
Dark's good. Dark's actually a lot of fun. It's annoying that it keeps getting longer. Because it started out as like a 45-minute, whatever. Or now like the last week's was like an hour and 15.
I was going to watch like 2 hours long. Or when was I was going? Well, maybe it was. I think the longest.
I think the longest one has been an hour 15 or an hour 20.
Was that Omega Dark?
It was Omega and Janela.
That's who it was.
Yeah, that was worth it.
I came this close to watching it.
You can, especially in that episode, you can fast forward to their match.
Just that match. Yeah. I'm kind of becoming a match snob, like where I'm like I refuse to watch full things. Yeah. I just watch the matches I want to watch, and then I skip over anything that I don't have any interest in.
Weirdly enough, one of the best matches on this last week's Dynamite, at least moments-wise, because this doesn't spoil anything.
No, you can spoil.
There was an Awesome Kong just squash match.
Nice,
and it was lights go out, her music hits, do her whole entrance like usual. And then her opponent runs at her. She hits the spinning back fist, picks her up, what they used to call the implant buster in Impact. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Jeez.
It was great.
So does she now have the shortest victory in AEW? No, I know Mox had it the week before or 2 weeks before. I can't remember. I watched one where he smoked someone in like 10 seconds.
She ran. She did too much pausing in between stuff because it was very much a.
What are her and Brandy called? The Nightmare. Brigade.
The Nightmare Collective.
That's this close on Brigade.
Yeah.
Nightmare Collective. That's a weird group. Did they show who the guy is?
Not yet.
Is it going to be a cool reveal or underwhelming?
It's going to be underwhelming.
F it.
From what I've heard, it's somebody that Chris Jericho knows or something like that.
That's that. Yeah.
It's fine because the story they're telling with them trying to.
What's with the butcher, the blade, and the bunny?
So technically, when they debuted, the week after, they didn't air a promo on Dynamite that they very much should have. MJF hired them.
Oh, yeah.
So MJF is bankrolling them.
So let's talk about. Since we're on the AEW thing, you like you said, you watched all summer. You watched from Double or Nothing through.
Yeah, I think I've
All
watched.
Out,
I think I've watched probably about
since then, right?
Yeah, I think I've watched probably about every minute.
Skip Double or Nothing. Skip Double or Nothing. Watch Fyter Fest. Skip Fight for the Fallen. Watched All Out.
Okay.
Watched the first 3 weeks of Dynamite.
Okay.
I'm leaning into that a little bit, maybe. Mostly I've watched most of the first month of Dynamite I watched.
Yeah.
Skip Full Gear. And like I said, now I've taken X amount of weeks off here and there, and then I watched one last week.
Yeah.
But I've been jumping back and forth.
Okay.
I don't think the product hasn't kept me not entertained because I love it. I love it. I love the action and I like the storylines and I liked the MJF turn. I thought it was a little, but whatever.
Yeah.
And from what I heard about Full Gear, I heard it was all right. I heard it was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
You know, but like I said, their problem, WWE's problem, right, is losing viewers, older viewers, and different demographics. AEW's problem is they have a nice chunk of the good demographic.
Yes,
but they have to the casual now, right? If I'm just going to be in for maybe 1 or 2 pay-per-views a year and then watch here or there on Dynamite, that's probably good enough for them. Yeah. That's probably, if I'm your basic casual, let's just call me your basic casual fan, right?
Yep, that makes sense.
Whereas, like you said, you've watched every second of it, right? And even including the dark, being the elites.
For the most part, some weeks,
Man. Envy you. Yeah. I don't get to watch that much wrestling. I'm gonna be honest. But yeah. So AEW,
it's all I do.
That's true. But because we'll talk about it at the end too, because you're gonna give us the Minnesota Indies. Yeah. We can talk about that a little bit when we get to the end and plug everything that's coming up in the next couple months for the Minnesota Indies. But AEW started really strong with Double or Nothing, right? Had an all right summer. Yeah. Really kicked it off in the fall. But I feel like they've kind of, I wouldn't say plateaued, but maybe just leveled off. Which isn't a bad thing.
I think a little
leveled off.
I think a little leveling off at this moment. So and actually a good example for kind of AEW kind of leveling off and kind of redoing their course and kind of course correcting a little bit. I think they realized some stuff wasn't working as well as they thought it would be. So one of the one kind of glaring criticism so far with AEW was the women's division. Yeah. It not being it just not connecting. It's not that the talent wasn't there, but just for some reason, Nyla Rose wasn't connecting as well.
We talked about the women's wrestling back when was it after All Out? Remember after All Out and that crazy weekend of wrestling, and I was like, that was not, and I wasn't trying to be mean by any stretch of imagination, but I was calling it as I see it. That wasn't great women's wrestling. Yeah. And you're right, that women's wrestling, I mean, it has improved.
Yeah, it has improved. And that's you got less focus on even though I think she's a good talent, you have less focus on a Britt Baker. And Riho's just been missing.
Well, is she in Japan? She has to fly back and forth. She's not over here full time.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with that, but then it's So like you realize like Allie is a good talent, but not always a great in-ring wrestler, but she's actually been really good now that she's become the bunny.
Yeah.
She's a really good manager. Same with Brandy Rhodes, like very good manager, or who can and who works much better, and that is much more or in her wheelhouse, like her skill set, doing something like that. But then you bring in, and she's caught fire. It feels like Chris Statlander.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's the one we're gonna focus on and show the in-ring skills for.
I think 2020 will be a big jump for the women's division, because here's what AEW's problem was. They're coming in and like, yes, you got established stars of Chris Jericho. People know who Pac is.
Yep.
People know who Cody Rhodes is. They've heard of the Bucks and Omega, but they don't fully know who them. Hangman Page, MJF less so, but he's been one of the best things they built. Obviously, not built because MJF was MJF before the company.
Yeah,
but one of the best talents they have that they focused on, right? And then you have to almost establish an entire roster.
Yep.
Right? And spending all the time, spend the time and attention that they've needed to kind of build the tag team and the men's rosters, which has to be your focal point. It has shown in the lack of development of the women's roster.
Yeah. Well, and
I think they're finally getting closer.
Yep.
And then I think now having those other two divisions more established will enable them to, further establish, like you said, the women's division and bring in talent that maybe they didn't have a talent problem, but they had a depth problem.
Yeah.
They had a very limited amount of talent. Now bringing in more talent, and it's kind of like throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks to a certain extent, right? Like you said, they bring in these new people and they kind of throw them out there. And if a crowd gravitates for someone's, that's where AEW is smart enough to go, oh, you like this person? Let's push them. Yeah. Let's focus on them. Where WWE's not smart enough to be like, oh, you have a built-in, gravitational pull towards this star. Let's do something with that. No, let's force feed you more Lana, Bobby Lashley, and Rusev stuff. Yeah. And that's the disconnect, really, with fans, where AEW will actually listen to and improve their product. Like the tag team stuff.
Yeah, the tag team stuff's been good. And here shows off some of the things that you can do with Dark, because clearly they want Dynamite to be a very focused show.
Right.
But then they also want to get some of this underneath talent over. So like this week they had a number one contenders match for the women's title between Chris Statlander and Britt Baker. On Dark last week, they had Chris Statlander taking on B. Priestley.
Okay.
In a match to showcase Statlander.
Okay.
And then you had Britt Baker in basically a squash match with a local talent, both on that show. So you got your audience more familiarized with both of them in preparation.
Who won, Statlander or Baker, for the number one contender?
Statlander.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I don't know. Britt Baker doesn't. I don't know what it is about Britt Baker, but that character or their presentation of her hasn't worked.
Yeah.
There's just not enough. I don't know who these women are or their backstories and like there's just not, like we've talked about with AEW, and the part of a problem of a new company is you don't have an established history.
Yeah.
Now flip the other side of that coin is WWE's got so much history and forgets the things that happen in a weekly basis.
Yep.
And has no continuity. So take it or leave it.
Like AEW even last week. So we talked about the Butcher and the Blade a little bit. Like the Butcher and the Blade got to pick Cody's tag team partner last week.
I watched that episode. That's the episode I watched.
Yeah. And so they picked QT
Apple
Marshall.
Dude, right?
Yep.
The guy with the apple.
Yep. Who was on all the Road to videos and that kind of stuff. He was basically kind of Cody's assistant. So they're like, oh, we're going to have him do this. But then after the match, out comes Darby Allin.
Right. I saw that.
To help Cody and then set up a match this week between Butcher and the Blade and Cody and Darby. The reason that Darby came to his side was going all the way back to June. They had that match at Fyter Fest and it was a draw.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Darby said, I'll help you out, but if we win,
I want another match.
I want a rematch.
All right.
And so it's like, oh, wow, that's paying attention to stuff. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. That's tying it back in.
Yeah.
That is, and that's what we, I think, as wrestling fans want more of, is that, if something happened, like, look at Kofi, right? Kofi Mania running wild. If you watch a WWE show, they don't mention anything about Kofi being champion this year. Mm-hmm. They literally, he's just a New Day member and they're the tag champs again, and Xavier's out.
Yep.
That sucks. And the way he lost the title to Brock in like 10 seconds.
Yeah. Well, and it takes it's funny that it takes the internet sometimes to point out these things that should be pretty obvious in like the to the company.
Right.
Like they should have pointed out at TLC that Asuka last year beat Becky in a TLC match to win the women's title.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, obviously she would have the advantage this year because, it's a tag team match and not, but like she has the experience advantage there. She's done this before.
Yeah. There's just so much they miss on, and just, I don't know if it's lack of, I mean, they're so big. It's like you want to say lack of focus, but it's almost like just lack of caring.
Yeah.
Which shows, and that's why AEW's built now they're not beating Raw or SmackDown numbers. They're beating NXT, or they're tying. They've lost
just
once or twice.
Barely, yeah.
They're right there though. I think they had the exact same number one week of viewers.
Yeah, they had the exact same number. It was just
they're both pulling shy of a million.
Like it was a .03 difference in the demographic.
Right.
Like it was like a .24 versus a .21. Yeah. Like it was that it was that close.
Well, and they're both pulling under a million though.
Yes.
Mostly. NXT had a little spike during Survivor Series week, which Survivor Series stuff.
Yeah.
That was good.
Survivor Series was really good. I was going to say like WWE, and that's kind of
they had like
the
a
weird thing
shining moment that all came from that Saudi Arabia disaster.
Yeah.
And they had this shining silver platter. And when they got it, and then it just, as soon as Survivor Series was over, it's a revert back to the mean. The same old trap.
Yeah, because and even though it's different now on Raw, your focus is still Seth Rollins
and the AOP.
Yeah, it's like, okay, he's a heel now, but you're still focusing on him.
He just his Twitter profile come to life.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's special. It's really special. No, they got the Fiend, the Bray Wyatt stuff, and the Daniel Bryan coming back.
That's actually one of the things I might actually watch SmackDown this week
to see what happens.
Because I want to just see if they reference that the last time he had that haircut was like
a decade
ago almost, when he was the American Dragon.
That is one thing that they have done well, WWE this year. Bray Wyatt and the Fiend, they have done very well. There was the one hiccup where he didn't beat Rollins, right? In the was it Hell in a Cell?
It was Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, that awful,
which was stupid.
So now we throw that out. They've pretty much done what they've needed to do with him, and his promos and the Firefly Funhouse is still one of the best parts of the show.
Yeah,
he is such a highlight of, that was one of the things I was most excited for when he came out and he was all like, "Hey guys," and he got up on the table and he was just being like the Bray Wyatt character, right? And there is that distinct split between him and the Fiend, and he almost doesn't realize that he's the Fiend.
Yeah,
that to me is like, that is something that they are actually doing for my money really well for the most part. If you literally just take out the Hell in a Cell piece, Just take out the Hell in a Cell
Take
match.
out the Hell in a Cell piece, and also for me, I get
the red lighting?
Yeah, I was like, can I get regular lights, please?
The red lighting is awful. I will agree with that. It is bad.
It's like that. That's so bad that it completely takes me out of his matches. Like I enjoy the Firefly Funhouse, the little like vignettes, like the attacks, like those are all really good. Those are all really well done. I like that, like at TLC, they kind of inverted that of like, you know, the lights go out and you did the slow progression of the lights going out too, which is, I love that because it's like, it's like, cause you get that anticipation of like, oh no,
what's about to happen?
This is going to be bad. This is going to be bad. And then it's Brian in the ring instead. And it's like, okay, I'm good with this.
Yeah.
The hood reveal was weird. But also like knowing if you've followed his career for long enough, the fact that it was like a maroon hoodie.
Yep.
When for years, his gear was just maroon.
I thought he was going to start doing the yes chant again. I thought he like, they were doing it. They were trying to goad him back into doing it. I thought we were going to get the return of the yes chant, but he paused but he hasn't fully gone, like, you know, he hasn't fully re-embraced that character. But so like, it will be interesting to see on SmackDown what they do with that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And yeah, if they ditch the lighting, I mean, Bray Wyatt's best match of his entire career singles wise was against Bryan.
Yeah.
So it could be really good again.
Yeah, no, they got a great property there.
Yep.
If they can keep tracking in the right direction and stay away from the stuff that happened at Hell in a Cell and book him right, and it'll be really curious to see what happens at Mania with him. Yeah, because the trajectory right now, if I had to call it, would be Bray Wyatt, Fiend versus Roman at Mania. Yeah. Because Roman seems to be on a Royal Rumble winning trajectory this year. Yeah. Which is going to sell him to the Fiend at Mania. And Roman can't win that. That's not going to go well.
I wouldn't be surprised if he won the Rumble, but I also... Do you dare, and this is a thing we talked about on like my podcast, like, do you dare let Roman Reigns win another Royal Rumble? Because it's like, okay, the crowd's, you know, getting behind him actually pretty well now, getting on his side. It's like, will that just bring up bad memories?
It's Vincent effing McMahon. He will do anything he wants to do. He doesn't care.
But should he? That's the problem. That's the thing.
Should he and will he are two different questions.
That's true.
Should he? No.
No.
Will he? Probably.
Yeah.
You know, like the one thing you think, like I was like, there's no way Rusev loses this tables match. The way they've told this story, Rusev's finally getting like traction behind him. Lashley's overrated anyways.
Yeah.
The big baby face win. It's all set up, and Lashley puts him through a table.
Yeah.
To no story development the next day.
Yeah.
It just I mean, at least I have my shining light, which is NXT. And NXT's been good all year. It's your workhorse. NXT is your workhorse.
Yeah.
Okay. It hasn't been at any point bad this year. It hasn't been at any point overly impressive. It's been a constantly good to better than average or better, better than good. If that makes sense.
Well, and I like the fact that like we get some highlights of some new talent too.
Undisputed Era just runs it. And
Undisputed Era runs it, but like the fact that you get guys like, Keith Lee.
Keith Lee.
Dominic Dijakovic.
Dominic Dijakovic.
Yeah.
Or however you say it. Bro, Riddle. Matt Riddle, obviously.
Matt Riddle. You've also got even on the underneath, like
Ciampa.
Ciampa and those guys, but like Leo Rush, the cruiserweight title has been a lot of fun. Even though he just lost it to Angel Garza.
They've put a lot of time and effort into rebuilding their women's division.
Yep.
And that's been a lot of fun.
It's been a lot of fun. Like, I wouldn't expect, like, speaking of Survivor Series,
War Games,
weekend, like War Games, I wouldn't expect, like, one of the highlights of that entire show and most memorable moments was a Dakota Kai heel turn.
Who saw it coming?
Yeah, it was so
Nobody
good.
saw that coming.
It was so good. And I'm, as much as I love her, I've actually been glad that, like, Tegan Knox has been off TV to sell that beatdown. And then, when she comes back, it's going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
And, thankfully it's not going to be.
Who's, now that, spoiler alert, Rhea Ripley is the new NXT Women's Champion. Who do you think will be her first?
The match before her, they weren't telegraphing this at all. The match before her was an Io Shirai squash match.
Oh, perfect.
So it's
just
like,
what I want. Io.
Yeah.
That's
like,
what I was hoping.
Yeah. And so it feels like it's probably, like, we're probably going to get a rematch first.
Right.
But then the next program would maybe be Rhea versus Io. Even though we've got Worlds Collide coming up first.
We do. So, that's Royal Rumble weekend, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Worlds Collide. And is that UK NXT?
It'll be UK versus NXT
205 live that doesn't exist, but does kind of.
So I wouldn't be surprised if, like, the Worlds Collide match now would be Kaylee Ray versus Rhea Ripley.
Okay.
Because then you've got similar dynamics. That would work pretty well. I think that match would be fantastic.
Do they bring Baszler onto the main roster before the Royal Rumble, or does she show up at the Rumble?
I think she shows up at the Rumble.
Wins it?
Shows up
and wins it?
I don't know about wins it. I think very much be impressive, and then get booted out by a person that she would then feud with.
So the Rumble's 10, 10, and 10 now, right? 10 from Raw, 10 from SmackDown,
I don't know
10 from
what
NXT.
I don't know what if they
Pretty
said that.
sure.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, but kind of quote me on that. I remember my brain wouldn't say it if I didn't hear it somewhere.
Okay.
And now that doesn't mean I heard it at a reliable source.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I can't remember
but I
if that
heard
was
that somewhere. I
like,
want to say it was a news video I was watching.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Fact check that. Comment section. But 10, 10, and 10. I think that's a good way to go forward and keep, plugging those products, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and, like, you can say, like, NXT has control of 10 and Raw has control of 10, because then you can have like
10 NXT stars, 10 SmackDown.
Yeah,
stars,
but then, like, then you can
then
you can justify, like, your occasional legend, like, hey, NXT brought them in for this,
Yeah,
Raw
you could.
brought them in
You
for
could.
this, like.
Let's stay away from. We got such a big roster. In the lean years, you need legends. These days, I think the more we distance ourselves from some of the legends, and not have them pop up, would be better. Because apparently
one or two is always fun, though.
So apparently the original idea for Reigns for WrestleMania next year is, or this year, well, I guess next year, whatever.
Yeah.
The coming one, 36, was him versus Rock. But they scrapped that. So that's what's making me think it's going to be him versus Fiend.
Okay. Yeah, and that would make sense.
I think that's another thing I heard somewhere in my brain.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've already said we like, are both of us in agreement that we like New Japan as, like, the promotion of the year?
Yeah, New Japan. Like, even though, it hasn't been as, crazy on top of everything since, the end of the G1 in August, you still had 8 months where it dominated.
Yeah. Pretty much from January. Yeah. January to August.
Because you also, and I love the fact that we glossed over this, not only on, like, my podcast we did, but, like, even tonight, we've glossed over the fact that Ring of Honor and New Japan ran Madison Square Garden this year.
Yeah, the G1 Supercard.
Yeah, the G1 Supercard.
Yeah, that was big.
Like, that was huge.
That was a big show.
And
that was a big show.
The highlights of that show were all the New Japan.
all New Japan. New Japan. New Japan.
Except for the ladder going into the crowd and almost impaling someone. That was hilarious.
That was impressive. New Japan USA coming next year.
Yep.
Woo! That's gonna be nuts. Though. There's too much. We're hitting a maximum, we're hitting a maximum saturation level.
Yeah.
Things are gonna have to start being pared down. I'd say my runner-up for promotion of the year, since New Japan's winning it.
Yes.
Would have to be NXT for me, just because of the consistency.
Yeah.
Right. Because the last year was it no NXT. What was the WrestleMania one last year? Was it New York?
Yeah, it was New York.
Yeah. That was a really good show. War Games was really good. It wasn't was it 25? One of the
25,
summer ones
which was
stronger.
Yeah.
One was weaker. One was stronger. Yep. I can't remember which was which.
Because they kind of blurred because they were so close.
They were way too close together. I like a little more breathing room in between my NXT takeovers. Give me a nice 2, 3, 4 months.
Yep.
Breathing room.
Yeah. Whereas 25 was. Yeah, I can't even remember which one was the 2 out of 3 falls match and which one was just the street fight. Yeah. Both of them were Cole versus Gargano.
2 out of 3 falls was better than the street.
Yeah, the 2 out of 3 falls was better.
Which was the first one.
Yep.
Was it whatever? But I'd say for you, would you put AEW as your runner-up promotion of the year after New Japan, or would you go?
I think so. It's very much a toss-up. Even last night. AEW thus far, at least for me, this is just personal opinion. Some of the feuds on NXT, I haven't been as invested in, even though talent's very good.
Right.
So last night there was a Damian Priest versus Killian Dane match.
Okay.
I am over that feud and don't care.
Yeah.
And that feud also included Pete Dunne.
Yeah.
And I'm even over Pete Dunne at this point because, and it was Pete Dunne versus Travis Banks.
Okay.
Which I've watched that match a few times, in progress.
Right.
And it was always good. It's always good. I'm sure it was good last night, but I wanted to get to the main event.
Right.
So
the Rhea Ripley,
I was like,
Shayna Baszler.
Fast forward.
Literally, it's the bookends. You had Balor and Finn Balor and Adam Cole in the beginning, and Shayna Baszler and Rhea Ripley at the end.
Yep.
And both matches I heard were excellent.
Yeah, they were both.
Was it Jungle Boy versus Jericho? Was that last night?
That was a lot of fun.
Was it?
Jungle Boy versus Jericho.
Did you feel the backlash that AEW was kind of getting for the records matter, and then Jungle Boy having a record versus? And Jericho came out and was like, I get to pick who I wanted to fight. Yeah. That's why the record thing. That's
kind of the caveat of that one of he's picking a guy with a terrible record. You understand this. He's Chris Jericho, so he's going to sell it I don't want to fight this guy. But he's I'm going to fight the guy who's never won a match. Of course I am.
What's their next pay-per-view?
Revolution or Revolution in February 29th. Which actually it's taking place
on Leap Day,
but also it's taking place the weekend of C2E2.
Oh, okay. In the same place?
I think across the street.
Chicago?
They're in Chicago again. But it's downtown Chicago, it's closer to the convention center. I can't remember if it's part of C2E2 or if it's just near C2E2, and C2E2 is kind of helping.
It's interesting that they're running Chicago for a pay-per-view already again.
Yeah, that's kind of been the other backlash of why are you guys in Chicago so much? You've pretty much ignored this entire half of the country. And you'll go boom, 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 boom. Oh, look, we're in Chicago again.
They just
boom, 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 boom. Look, we're in Chicago again.
But they have Philly. They could hit. You know. There's other wrestling towns.
I think it's more because they did some stuff this year with C2E2. They did panels and stuff like that, and I think the relationship was there already. So C2E2 wanted to bring them in and do something. Kind because I know probably I have a feeling we're probably going to get another Fyter Fest. It just will be called something different.
Right.
Because CEO, has the relationship with Omega and now AEW that they'll want to bring them in for something.
Well, and so the February one, then will the next one after that be the Double or Nothing?
Double or Nothing, yeah.
Double or Nothing again?
Yeah.
Double or Nothing 2?
Yeah.
Electric Boogaloo?
I think they've said they're keeping the names like Double or Nothing and All Out.
Okay.
And then everything else will kind of change and vary if need be.
They can be all topical and funny.
Well, like
Fyter Fest.
Full Gear was a fine title to keep around.
Yeah.
Revolution is
I don't love
okay.
it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Like it's fine. It's like it's passable.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Pay-per-view names, whatever.
Yeah.
Give me good product. I don't, you can have a great name and still be trash.
Yeah.
I want WWE to go back to more like your No Mercies, your Unforgivens.
Yep.
And get away from TLC, Hell in a Cell. Pretty much the only gimmick pay-per-view that you could keep would be Money in the Bank. Because I like Money in the Bank.
I like Money in the Bank.
And you already have Extreme Rules. So but get rid of Hell in a Cell, get rid of TLC. I think those need to go away because then it's not like you don't get those matches any other time of the year and they don't feel special anymore.
Yeah.
Because they try to either jam 2 to 3 or however many they can fit in. And then every year you got to have the ladder match. You got to have the table match. You got to have, thank God there's no chair match this year.
Yeah,
you know
that's always the downside of TLC.
Right.
As the pay-per-view is like they always feel like they have to shoehorn in, like
paint
you said.
by numbers, right? They have an outline and they just plug in new names and it's not working and they need to freshen up. So I'm optimistic going into 2020. I think it's gonna be a hell of a year to be a wrestling fan.
It's gonna be a hell of a year, like even
2019 was.
Even like on a smaller scale, and it's weird since we mentioned earlier Madison Square Garden and now Ring of Honor being the smaller scale, but. Like Ring of Honor could do some interesting things. They've got a lot of people's contracts coming up, and like, are they going to re-sign them? Are they going to let them go?
Re-sign them?
Yeah. Well, given their parent company, they probably do.
But will they be given the?
Yeah. Will they be given the money?
That's different, right?
Because like, I believe I read somewhere that. So PCO just won the world title.
The Ring of Honor world title.
But Brody King, Jeff Cobb, and Bandito's contracts are up.
Marty's coming.
Marty's
up soon,
contract is
up. It's already
Marty's
up.
contract is up. He's working a like
he was in NWA.
He's working with
Power.
Ring of Honor. With Ring of Honor, he is working a per appearance thing so far.
Matter of time before he's in AEW with the rest of the elite and everybody.
I don't know. Like I'm hoping
Cody came out and said whatever he's up to in the first quarter of this year is temporary.
Well, that's
a Cody quote.
Yes.
You also hear what Cody said about Luke Harper?
No, what did he say?
He had like the best he's a great talent. Anywhere he goes, he's gonna, do well. He's a special guy or whatever like that. So pretty much Luke Harper to AEW confirmed.
Yeah.
I'm just like 100%. They're gonna do so good with him. God, they're gonna get lucky.
It's interesting because I almost feel like Marty is just buying his time to show up the show after Revolution.
Yeah, he could. That's what I said. First quarter. That's why Cody said first quarter. It's temporary because he could show up Double or Nothing next year, right?
But also, I think he realizes. So the fun thing is, Marty Scurll owns the trademark to Villain Enterprises.
Yeah.
And because of that, and he's apparently become really good friends with Brody King. I think he's waiting for Brody's contract to run
so they can
up.
bring him.
He can come in. And weirdly enough, if he came in with, right after Revolution, which would be February, he shows up with Brody King and then also comes with Brody Lee.
Okay.
Because they did that Instagram post together with just hashtag Villain Enterprises.
Yeah. Well, he's got 90 days, you know.
He's got 90 days.
Harper's got 90 days, no compete clause.
So did you hear the fun little tidbit on that? So his contract, if they would not have released him, would have come up on March 23rd or something like that. At the same time that
the 90-day clause runs out.
His 90-day clause runs out on the 12th.
Yeah. So it cost them nothing to do. That's what everyone was like, oh, that's so nice of them to release Sin Cara. The Ascension, I don't think, wanted to be released, but they got released anyways. And Luke Harper, Sin Cara and Luke Harper wanted it and were vocal, and they got their releases, but all those contracts, I bet, were going to be up by time the 90-day no complete clause. Yep. And Sin Cara might have screwed himself because he went out with the Sin Cara name already somewhere. In
AAA.
Yeah, dude, come on. They're being lenient, though, but if someone pushes them or tests them, they're not going to be. So the only person you're hurting is the boys in the locker room or the talent in the locker room, because WWE is not going to be just let people go and let they don't.
If in the Sin Cara situation, if he knows that, hey, I'm just going to work AAA, I don't care. That's kind of why he's doing what he's doing.
But I guess they changed the name the next day or whatever like that and changed. But even the Titantron was similar or something like that. It was almost like the WWE Titantron. It's that's ballsy, man. Can't they are litigious. They will come at you. I mean, they will. But they have a problem. They have a morale. I think they have a morale problem with their talent.
Yes,
I think there's a serious morale problem there. And I think listening to the fans is one thing, but I think they need to listen to their talent, and let their talent kind of not run the show, but have more input into their characters instead of everybody having to be so produced and so perfect. Because what's working with AEW is the rawness to it. There's tons of things about AEW I don't love, and I'm not here to be like the WWE guy bashing on AEW. Yeah. I like the product a lot. But it has a ways to come before it is just it's NXT's rival, but it's not WWE's rival.
No,
you get what I'm saying?
I mean, they're still establishing themselves and that kind of stuff.
If you're Impact and Ring of Honor, I'm sorry, but I think both those promotions limited time running from here on out, because Power fills the gap like a nice niche, right?
Yep.
Power fills a really nice niche gap. AEW gives everybody what they want for the most part, right? But even now you've started to see cracks with people getting all whatever. And then you got and then you got New Japan with New Japan America coming in.
Yep.
That's going to probably slide into so you'll have WWE, Raw, SmackDown will still be at top. They'll be the top draw. Then you'll have your lower tier, which will be AEW, NXT, New Japan, USA, right? Then now Impact maybe at one point was in the New Japan.
Yeah.
Because New Japan and New Japan USA will kind of be in the same category.
Yeah.
I think, New Japan for me is maybe a step up. It's like WWE, then New Japan, then AEW, NXT, New Japan USA kind of in their own tier, right?
I can see that, yep.
And then New Japan is kind of just by itself right there. It's got such a sweet spot, and they can do whatever they want. It's oh, God, I love them. And then you got under that, you got Ring of Honor and Impact.
Yep. Who at this point very much feel like, and no offense to anyone I know that works there, because you
got friends all over the place.
I got friends
not like me.
Yeah.
Nobody. I got no friends. Well, him.
They very much feel like because they're both owned by companies that own the TV stations they're on.
Right.
They're very much programming. They're kind of a profit and loss. Just hey, we need an extra 2 hours of programming each week.
Right.
Hey, we own this company. We can make them produce it.
So they'll just be there, but then they'll fall down. Well, then that's weird, because then who would you even put below that? Then would you put your Progresses, and you'd put Evolve, or would you? Is that where a lot of them would fall in there?
Yeah,
after
probably about
maybe Stardom or Stardom.
Yeah, Stardom. Yeah,
boom, nailed it. God, I'm good. Chikara.
Yeah, Chikara. Yeah, and then
AAA. trying to think of some of your lesser known.
Yeah. Well, at least Well, and like
AAA
AAA and CMLL.
CMLL. Yep.
Are I just don't watch enough lucha because they are actually crowd wise. They're especially in Mexico. They're close to at points that AEW level.
Right.
You know, they have those big of crowds
just down there though.
But just down there.
Right.
But I mean,
it's
Japan
more of a territorial.
just, you know, other than the last few years, like New Japan just stays in Japan and they do really well.
Yeah. That's true.
You know,
Japan's yeah.
But like, and then you've got like MLW who kind of have a slight working relationship. It feels like with AEW because guys like Jimmy Havoc and MJF are both under this weird dual contract like situation of like they're still on MLW TV.
Weird.
And doing actually, at least in Jimmy Havoc's case, interesting stuff. And then are able to still work at AEW because the MLW contracts basically is like, hey, you can work wherever you want, just not WWE.
Right. Well, that's what, and WWE's like, you can go do whatever you want as long as it's not these companies, pretty much. Well, like for 90 days, then they're pretty much back to they've almost reverted back to, it seems like their WCW policy days, because it was they really hadn't done the 90-day no compete clause.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah, well, that was a joke that they said online was like this week feels like 2016 again because we had like 4 people get released and then 2 people on like wellness violations. It's like, wow, that hasn't happened for years.
It has been. It had been. And that was what? Bobby Roode?
Robert Roode and Primo?
Which I didn't even know he's still employed.
I thought he was released.
Yeah,
too.
Sergio Vega came out and said that they didn't work. Him and Primo or him and Epico didn't work for WWE anymore.
Yeah,
that they worked for. Is it CMLL that their family?
No, IWA, I believe.
Some other like, promotion. So as we're sliding
in Puerto Rico,
as we're sliding down the indie pole.
Yeah.
Going into the deeps now.
Yeah.
Give us a little year-end review and a little 2020 preview of the Minnesota indie scene. Break it down for me.
So Minnesota indie scene.
You know how into it I am.
Yeah.
So
Minnesota indie scene. A lot of good stuff. I don't know when exactly everything's gonna like come out. But I know I'm pretty sure like First Wrestling, one of the companies I work and do photography for, did a show last week called Hanukkah Havoc.
Yeah, I saw you post some pictures.
It was such a good show. There was a women's match, which it was a surprise guest referee, Victoria Lisa Marie Varon, who she's delightful. She's amazing, and like it was 2 like newer girls too.
Okay.
And she very much was like kind of the den mother for them of like helping them, you know, kind of work through things and giving advice after. She's great. But the match of that entire show though, because it was called Hanukkah Havoc because it was at a synagogue, and the best match on that entire show, and I hope that it gets online sometime. It was Matt Sydal, who used to be in Ring of Honor and New Japan and all that stuff, against David Starr.
Oh wow!
That match was so good, and it was just wrestling.
Wow, like, just a straight up wrestling match.
Like the 2 biggest like high spots or whatever you might want to call.
Yeah.
Matt did like a leaping Hurricane Rana off the top, and then he did his double knee like Meteora.
Okay.
Otherwise, wrestling
just
for
great,
like 15 minutes.
Just great work rate wrestling.
So good.
Oh.
Then the week before that, like Orange Cassidy was in town where I got the shirt. The end of November, like, yeah, there's a lot of like really good stuff going on, and then the 3rd and 4th are the next WrestlePalooza shows. which I'd plug, but they literally sold out yesterday. So sorry.
Still plug them. Plug them. Either way.
But
First Wrestling's First Avenue, what, bi-yearly, right? They do.
Yeah, two weekends a year, I can say at this point, because it feels like January now. We're doing 2 shows, and then June usually is the second show, just the second time, because it's 2 shows in January and then a third show in June, and then they'll do pretty close to monthly shows. Right. Or every other month.
Those are their big. Those are their 2 big.
At like the Uptown VFW and places like that. Because there's another one on April 9th coming up. Because everything, that's the good thing and bad thing about tickets selling out like sooner and sooner is that means shows get announced earlier and earlier. So it's like, I know what I'm doing April 9th already.
Nice.
So
it's good for you though.
So I took time off work.
Steady work.
So yeah, we're like First Wrestling, doing that. Like Joey Ryan is coming into town. Colt Cabana's coming in.
Was Colt Cabana there at the last at the?
Yeah, he was at Hanukkah Havoc. Yes.
Because what was the one they did there earlier this year that you were talking about?
It was called like Mitzvah Mania.
Yeah.
That was Colt. That was Colt versus Chris Masters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez. And that was okay.
That was a lot of fun too. Like it wasn't on the level of like.
Yeah, check out First Wrestling if you're in Minnesota. Check out First Wrestling. They do shows all over the place. You'll see this guy with a camera running around
and
doing
then,
stuff.
Yeah, and then like late.
You won't see me there, but
like late February. There's another promotion that runs up in Duluth called Heavy on Wrestling. And one of the matches that they've announced so far because their champion is Eric Cannon. And it's going to be Eric Cannon versus Dak Draper, who works at Ring of Honor.
Okay.
He's able to do a few independent dates in between. So he's going to be at the WrestlePalooza shows, and then he'll be at Heavy on Wrestling. He's really good. Guy who's like 6'4" and just really pretty jacked up. Like he was like a former like wrestling coach.
Oh wow.
But he's so good. Such a good character, like
nice,
and an incredibly nice guy too.
And now it's called Heavy on Wrestling.
Yeah, Heavy on Wrestling.
Check them out too. Another Duluth, Minnesota promotion.
Yeah.
So this man is all about the Minnesota Indies. He's all over the place.
Yeah, all over the place.
Hard-working photographer. Check his stuff out. Knocked Out Entertainment.
Yep.
Check out his podcast, his photography. You got books that. You got lots of stuff, right?
Yeah, I got lots of stuff.
There's lots of things out
most
there.
of it.
This dude does amazing work.
Yeah, check out Knocked Out Entertainment or like Knocked Out Films on Instagram and Twitter and stuff. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So like, what are you looking forward to for like next year?
Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah. It's gonna be so good.
I'd love to say I'm looking forward to the Rumble, but I'm not.
When the time comes, it's the Rumble.
Yeah, it's the Rumble. You're right. Mania. I'm pissed about Mania because it should be here and not in Tampa because Tampa's a toilet bowl. No offense to anybody in Florida. I love all of you Floridians, but Tampa sucks. So it should be here.
I love all of the people in Florida. I just hate your environment.
So I hate Tampa Bay specifically. Yeah. And being that Mania's in Tampa Bay this year, it's trash. But no, I am looking forward to Wrestle Kingdom a lot more than like anything else. For as little of New Japan as I've watched, I shouldn't be this excited for an event coming up in a couple weeks.
It's gonna be so good though.
I really am. It's like 2 weeks from now, and I'm just I'm pumped.
Yeah, well, and even like the little stuff, like it's Jushin Liger's last matches.
There's so much.
And it's actually cool what they're doing for. So it's him teaming with like all the guys like he used to team with.
Yeah.
So like Tiger Mask, a couple other guys, and then facing Great Sasuke, and teaming with them in an 8-man the first night, and then him and a guy who I think was a young lion the same time as he was.
Okay.
Who they kept kind of always intersecting.
Okay.
And like feuding throughout the years. They're teaming against the newly rechristened Ryu Lee, Dragon Lee.
Okay.
And Hiromu Takahashi, who are
really?
Is that on night?
Is that on
that's
night two?
That's on night 2.
Interesting.
Who are the same situation of like they were, came up together and then kept butting heads.
Interesting.
And so it's like career rival versus career rivals now.
This is exactly why New Japan won promotion of 2019 for me.
Yeah.
They've been building a story. They've been building stories since last Wrestle Kingdom.
Yep.
That will culminate this Wrestle Kingdom. Right?
There's possibility that
and some of these have built for long. But I'm saying they are so good about telling a story. I know, and I've only been watching for 1 year, but it seems like almost for the past few years, that's what they've been doing. Is they have this, they look at it as the start point and the end point is the same point, right? It's the culmination. And then, I guess the Kurikan Hall show the next day is like the jump off point, right? Or
now it's not even Kurikan Hall because they're selling too many tickets.
So now it's going to be Tokyo Dome, and then
Tokyo Dome, Oda Gymnasium, which is where they kicked off the G1.
Okay, so then having those 3 shows, and it's like the finale of the year prior, and however long for some of these, and then the kickoff of all the new stuff. That to me, that is why I love New Japan. And that gives me exactly what I want. And I don't have to watch every event, every week, every match, and I can pick and choose, and I can go on New Japan World and I can watch these 3 matches with English commentary and not watch the 4 or 5 matches prior to it. And I can just watch the final 3 matches. I can watch a Will Ospreay match, then I can go watch an Okada and Evil match, then I can go watch a Naito match, then I can go watch a Jay White match. So it gives me that whole match snobness that I've been saying.
And it feeds into that too. And occasionally they'll throw up, a free match on YouTube. Yeah. Because like last year they very smartly put up right before Wrestle Kingdom that tag match, the Ospreay and Tanahashi against Omega and Ibushi tag match. They put that up. They just recently put up from the Super J Cup that they did in the US, Ospreay versus Amazing Red. Yeah. And that's a really fun match. So you get even check their YouTube and
they do a good job with not just the little nuggets here and there and the build throughout the year, but not so condensed, and they don't rush anything and they let things breathe and oh man, so good. Yeah, New Japan all the way. I don't know. I think we've put a pretty nice bow on 2019. And we've turned an eye towards 2020.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Do we see a double champion? Do we see a double champion?
We are guaranteed to see a double champion.
Guaranteed?
Yeah. That's because it's the winners facing each other
on the double
on night
so
2.
It is guaranteed.
Yeah, it's guaranteed.
Because didn't Okada put it to the people and they were booing that idea?
They booed the idea because of how he put it out there, because he was very much being kind of a cocky prick of this is a stupid idea, don't you think? And then they booed it because it's no,
it's a great idea.
It's a good idea.
So we're for sure getting a double champion.
Yeah, we're for sure getting a double champion.
Who will be? Let's end this. Let's end this the right way. Who will be the first ever double champion? We have 4 men pretty much vying for it. We have Kota Ibushi.
Yep.
We have Kazuchika Okada. We have Naito.
Yep.
And
Naito.
we have Jay White.
And Jay White.
Of those 4 men, who's going to hold both titles at the end of night 2 of Wrestle Kingdom 2020? Kyle, go.
Naito.
Oh, I would love it. Yeah. You saw these.
Yeah. Oh. It would be great. Otherwise, I worry so much. But here's the caveat. I don't think he's beating Okada for that, because that's what everybody thinks.
No.
I think he's beating Ibushi.
them for like is that the fourth time this year then?
Yeah, but that's fine.
Like, I mean, how many times they kill each other? But I don't know if I can watch it. I'll totally watch it.
What would be a more Kota Ibushi style story of, I finally won. I got this IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
Lost at the next night.
And I am now the shortest reigning IWGP because of a thing that he suggested.
Right. That's a very...
That is such a Kota Ibushi type moment.
Let's go. 2020.
And then next year you can sell out the Dome again with Okada versus Naito.
Okada Naito, Jay White Naito. I love Jay White. I know you're not a big Jay White guy. Me, I love me some Switchblade.
Yeah. Just of those four, he's my fourth favorite.
I'm with you though. I'm with you all the way.
Yeah.
Give me Naito.
Yeah.
Give me Naito as the first double champion to make up for what happened to him back all those years that you told me about on a prior episode of this podcast that you can watch back on YouTube.
Yeah, like I said, if that happens,
what a story.
They have been setting that up since Wrestle Kingdom 8.
Oh, what a story. I would love to see that culminate. Thank you, my friend, for joining me as always. Third base, my banner. Kyle Olsen, Knocked Entertainment, Knocked Out Films. Go check us out. Check him out. All that. Like, share, do those things. Till the next one. Deuces.